hard to be on your own, you know. How is noble to be wali, because that wali person who is to do on his own, so he would be alone and he would just look on himself, and then he would give a ghusl. So then the kids of the dead person would come only just to lift, you know, or otherwise he would just put on kafan and then he would lift to put on top of, you know, the taboo. Okay, so anyway, when we started, we say it is recommended, as I said, to have 3 people besides the one who is giving ghusl. But is there any limits in terms of minimum or maximum? We say there is no any. Okay, so then one person should be disobedient and one is pious, as I said. So disobedient, it will be reminder that body is lying in front of him. So it may make him to make tawbah. But the obedient pious person, because he's in front of, you know, in that situation, he will make dua. So maybe he will make dua and Allah will accept. So that's why. So anyway, and as you can see, there are some clothes. Normally they do wear it, you know, just because of water. So anyway, if 2 of you can help me, normally they do have fabric. I think is this one. Okay.
Put it on the...
No. Just to hold it. Okay, so. Okay, so please can you hold it from two sides, and you are from here. Okay, so before giving ghusl, so we make sure that 2 people are holding on top of the body. What is the aura? Aura is from the belly button to the knees. So before we'll open it up, so these 2 people will be holding. Okay, but what about if it's only you or only 2 of you? In that case, you just put it like that, and normally when you start giving a ghusl, it just opens up. So you just avoid it. Okay, you try to not to look into the aura. Okay, so then they are holding. Then first thing, you will just start taking off the clothes. Okay, so it's like that. Sorry. So it's just make sure that you're holding it there. Okay. So then you just take off the clothes.
So do you know if they're hard to take off? Do people normally cut them as well?
They cut it also, but we have to try to do our best to not to cut it, because it is a thing, so we shouldn't make israf of it. Okay. So just we take it off. So we'll just take it off. Just lift it. Okay, so let's put it aside, and then the. So now it's ready. The body as well as the shoes will be taken off. Okay. So then the first thing ever what we do is to give wudu. Okay. So before wudu, normally what do? They just put in some cotton. Okay. So into the nose, just to make sure that you know when you are washing it doesn't go in. You know water doesn't go in. So just to put it in like that. And after giving ghusl, you should take it off. Okay. Rasulullah said that body will recognize the person who is giving him ghusl. Okay, so after the death, before you will start giving ghusl, ruh goes and comes back. Okay, so just we'll put it there. Okay, and then some people actually even put inside of the mouth also. Why? Because do you know normally when person dies, mouth opens up, you know. And while you are giving ghusl, that fabric will be taken off. So it again falls back, like that. Okay, so that's why they put in a cotton. Okay, because when you are washing the face, water goes into the mouth, but it will be stuck in the cotton. Okay, so that's what you do. So now, body is ready to give ghusl. If there is any rings, etc., you just take them off. So the first thing you do, you give wudu. Okay, you wash the face, you wash the arms, right and left, you make masah, and then you wash the feet. Okay, so now as you can see, we have, for example, equipment like that. you can use it. Okay, so means only 3 people will be sufficient. But if there is no equipment, then you need someone with a jug. So on your own, we'll just give ghusl, wudu. Okay, so now wudu is perfectly done. Now we will start giving the rest of the ghusl. What do? We put the body on its left side, because normally in ghusl we start washing the body from the right side. Am I right? So where is the right side of the body? So it's in here. Okay, means we just put it on the left side like that. Okay, and then you just give ghusl, and there are 2 ways actually to do it. Okay, so there are one way, they separately wash the head, and after that they turn the body on its left side. And there is another way, they just put the body first, and then they give ghusl starting from the head. Both of them are fine. There is no any, you can say, restriction. Okay, but maybe the easiest way to give ghusl to the towards the head first. Okay, and normally in the traditional way, what do they do? In the traditional way, it will be separately prepared water. Okay, so then they use hanout. It's you can say a type of a perfume for the head. Okay, and for the rest of the body, they either use cedar or either wax or some of that type of plants, bushes. Okay, but now as you can see, we just use normal water, which says there is nothing wrong with it. Okay, so now it's okay, you can just release it, no problem. First thing, we wash the body, we wash the head. Okay, and there will be some gloves normally. Okay, so we wash it properly, so water goes, okay, to everywhere. Okay, like that, we wash it after wudu. Okay, for 3 times. Now that's done, and then we put the body on its left side. Okay, normally the brothers will be just holding the body. If you are on your own, so then you should make it maybe just holding it like that. Okay, so you have to make it on your own. So then you will start washing the body from the right side. Okay, 3 times as I said. So then you have to make sure that it goes everywhere, you know, you just wipe it, okay, as well as from here, inside, the legs, okay, but then you do not look, but you will make sure that it's just going underneath, and then it's just covering the aura, okay, so up to the end, you wash them all for 3 times, okay, and when you see that from right side it is done, you just put the body, turn it back to its right side. So lying on the right side, so left side will be in the, on top actually. And you do the same procedure over the body again. You're washing the body for 3 times from the left side. Okay? And after that, just let's put the body into the initial position. Now ghusl is perfectly done. You just pick up a towel and then you wipe the body. Okay, just you wipe the body. Okay, just to dry it up, and you do not comb nothing. You just leave it as it is. Just take off the cotton, not because it's just perfectly done. And then after that, there are some certain type of perfume, kafur. Okay, so then you just wipe it on the forehead, the places of sajda, nose, okay, palms, and then feet.
What about the knees?
Sorry? Knees also, yeah. Because so there are 7 parts, limbs of the sajda, all of them. Okay? So now it is done. Yes?
You still keep this covered, don't you?
Sorry?
You still keep this
Yeah, of
covered.
course, it shouldn't be uncovered. In terms of putting a cotton, so there are 2 ways. You can put it, or you may. It depends on the culture or costume. Okay, but you have to try to avoid water going in. Okay, from the ears or from the nose. Okay, so after that, normally after the ghusl, straight away you put back the mouth and then you just tie it up, because normally it will just fall down again. You pull it back. You put it back. Okay, so
what about, do you know some people write shahada with a finger like this?
we say fine in Hanafi madhab, but in terms of writing on the paper and putting in the kafan, in Hanafi madhab is not allowed, because we have to avoid the najasa from the name of Allah. Am I right? So body will start decomposing, you know, so filth will touch it. Okay, but on the kafan or on the forehead, that is fine. In Hanafi madhab we say fine. So now it's done. And normally the kafan will be put, on the body in different place. Okay, so two people hold the body. So then before putting the body, they prepare the clothes, sheets, you know. It is 3 sheets. What did we call them? Qamis, izar, and lifafa. Okay? And then what is the order? The most common order, the traditional order, that because what is underneath, the first thing which is touching your body, what is that? We say it's izar. Then qamis on top of izar, and then lifafa on top of everything. Okay? Or some of them do qamis first, then izar, and we say no problem, but it's better because traditional way that izar goes first, and then qamis, and then lifafa. We say fine. So in order to not to get hard time, we just prepare the sheets. So anything goes first. Earlier you put letters. It's just a technical thing, yeah. So if you can just help me. So just body will be. Okay. So that is the body. Okay, so now we are preparing the kafan. How to prepare the kafan? So, qamis from the shoulders up to the toes. And then izar is from the head up to the toes. And lifafa is again the same thing, but lifafa normally will be longer, so you can just tie up the sides. What is it? I don't know if it's which one is longer. Okay. So that is lifafa. Then lifafa will be in the underneath of everything because that's go as on top of everything. Okay, so that is lifafa. If you can just put it from there. Yeah. So that is lifafa, and the second thing in between is just optional. But we say the traditional way that qamis should be as a second. First thing is izar, then qamis, then lifafa. So let's say that this is qamis. So qamis, as we said, it will be from the shoulders up to the toes. Okay, so it will be slightly underneath. That is the qamis. And then izar, what did we say about izar? Izar is again the same as lifafa. Will cover everything. Am I right? I think it's this one. So that's the izar. If you can just that's fine. Now that's done. So then we will bring the body. Then the body. In terms of making the kafan, there are 2 ways. Okay, making the kafan, there are 2 ways. This is the most common way. Okay, and this is the way which is described in Mukhtasar al-Quduri. Okay, first you put on the left side. Okay, this side. Yes, and then right side. And normally it will be wider. Okay, so when you put left side, it covers up to here. So the right side again up to there. Okay, so everything, yes.
Everything.
Yes. And then the qamis is the next. If you can just put on. So that is the left side first. As we said, the izar will be covering up to the toes, from the head up to the toes. Qamis from the shoulder up to the toes. Okay, covering like that. And then so that is the qamis. As we said, first left side and then right side. Okay, so it is, what do we do? Allahu Akbar. So left first, then right. So it's very technical. So then on top of everything, we do put the lifafa. Okay, and normally lifafa will be covering all of the body, and again lifafa will go over the toes also. So the sides, what do? We just tie it up. Okay, so if you can just tie up from that, please. Now it is done. Now it is done. And then what do? because as you can see in here is open. So when they lift, if there will be wind, so it can just uncover it. So then they do tie off with some certain fabric. But that fabric, when you put the body into the grave, you have to take it off. Okay? So now it's done. Again, keep in your mind, before putting on the kafan, you have to put on some perfume on it. Also for 3 times. Once, 3 times. It's mustahab. If you don't put it, you're not sinful, but it's better. Yes?
Is that on the kafan or the body?
No, on the kafan. But body, we said, is mainly beard, hair, as well as sajda places. That's it. Okay, so that is now done. So that is one way of preparing the kafan. There is another way of preparing the kafan. What do they do? So it is just small version of it. So normally it is the same thing except qamis. Izar and lifafa the same version except qamis will not be done like that, but they will prepare like this, and then they cut from there so head can go. Okay, so it is the same thing, but then qamis will be so half of it will be there, and then half of it will be hanging. So when you bring the body, so you bring it back to cover, and then there will be hole, you know. So head will come out. The rest is exactly the same. Okay, so now Janazah is ready. Okay, so is there any question? Yes.
You know, on this side you tie the kafan.
Yeah.
But when you go for the janazah,
Yeah.
you have to tie it, or can you leave open then when you're ready? Then tie it?
No. Normally we do tie it up straight after giving ghusl, just to make sure that it doesn't uncover. Okay, but when you put it in the grave, do you have to unlock it? We say not necessary, but the fabric which is in the middle, we do take it off, yes.
But when they do the janazah, people do ziyarah.
Yeah.
Then we can tie it.
No, because look,
we just open this up.
because
Yeah.
still there is room to open, you know,
Yeah.
like that. Okay, but with the women, normally they do not open it. Unless if it's only the female relatives of the lady, only then they do uncover. And then with the ladies, it will be the hairs will be on the chest, or some of them do put it on top of the face and then on the chest. So now janazah is ready. So now it's makruh to leave it like that. As soon as it's ready, we have to take it, we have to pray janazah, we have to bury it. Now it's done.
Do you read anything while you're preparing?
We say as much as dua as you can, because now he needs a lot of duas, istighfar. So that is really recommended. But the sunnah dua is normally when you put the body in the grave. You say Bismillahi wa ala millati Rasulillah. That's it. Yeah. And yes.
I've seen somebody write on the kafan.
Yeah, we say fine. La ilaha illallah only. La ilaha illallah. Some say Muhammadur Rasulullah. With the finger only. On the chest or on the forehead.
No, with the mouth.
So you don't actually
No.
write it.
Sorry?
You don't actually write it.
No, it's just with the finger. You imitate actually. Yeah.
If you write it, when the body decomposes, it's not good.
Exactly, yeah. Because it's filthy.
Sheikh, also you said it's makruh the time period to
Yeah,
expand it. So for example, if we've taken the mayyat now to the place of janazah, so if the imam's doing a speech, should he cut the speech then?
If it's, we say it's because this is more recommended.
Yeah.
Makruh tahriman to delay the janazah, makruh tahriman to delay burial.
Okay, so it's better for him to cut the speech then.
Exactly, it's better, yeah. If we can just go to the classroom. So that
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Just before going to the questions, there are very common questions, so I would like to answer them. First of all, in terms of the procedure of how to speak to the dead person according to the sunnah. Do you remember the... so we say, Rasulullah say, so you have to stand toward the head of the person. So it will be when body will be buried already. Okay, so when we just throw a dust, so when it's ready, so you should be stand towards the head, and then you have to shout his name. For example, Ahmad bin Fatima. Or Ahmad bin Fatima, don't forget that you have spent your life saying La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. That's it. Okay, and I have been asked, is it permissible to read adhan? I say, so according to this hadith, is only you have to shout his name and his mother's name. So you have to specify him, you know. So when you are reading adhan, I don't know if it is permissible or not permissible, but my own understanding, most likely, it should not be permissible, because reading adhan is calling the person to pray and to practice. Now, it is a group of people who are cut off from practicing. So definitely it's going to hurt the people, you know. Okay, but then, again, adhan is general thing, but you have to specify his name, you know. Because as long as that person is in the grave, he will hear adhan and many other things. So Rasulullah ﷺ knew that that person is going to hear adhan, but yet he said, you have to say it. So I say it should be specific one. Yes.
How would you say?
You will say, for example, "Oh Ahmad bin Fatima, don't forget that you have spent all your life saying La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah." That's it, nothing else. Then Rasulullah ﷺ says, after this announcement, Munkar wa Nakir will come to enter the grave, and when they will enter, one will say to another, saying, how do you want to test the one who has been reminded his proof? And then both will leave the grave. So that is hadith actually. So anyway, even if it's weak hadith, as I said, but it is agreed upon hadith according to four madhahib. So it is mustahab in all of four madhahib. Yes.
English or Arabic?
Well, Rasulullah did made statement in Arabic, because the language of Rasulullah was Arabic. So, but we say in our own language, okay? Because the dead person will still hear and understand his own language, you know. But anyway, so that's the main thing. So that's one thing, and there is another question also. It's a very common question. When we read Quran and send its reward. So first of all, is it permissible to read Quran in the graveyard? So we're not talking about reading it, for example, here and sending its reward. I'm talking going to visit to grave and read it in there. So Abu Hanifa said, not permissible. Okay, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmad, and Sahabain of Abu Hanifa, they said is recommended. Hanafi Mu'tamad position, official Hanafi position, we say it is mustahab. But the statement of Abu Hanifa, it's because when you read Quran, it may hurt the dead people. Because they had the chance of reading, but they didn't. Okay, but the Mu'tamad Hanafi position, we say it's permissible. When you go to visit the grave, it is permissible to read it. Okay, so that is in Hanafi. But in Shafi'i and Hanbali madhab, there is no any problem from the beginning. Okay, so that's one thing. But what about reading Quran and sending its sawab? Does it reach? So we say in Hanafi madhab, most likely it will reach. We do not have certainty, but we say most likely. Okay, is there any of you studied Aqidah Tahawiyya, the text of Imam Tahawi? So it states in there, because Aqidah Tahawiyya is Sunni Aqidah, am I right? So in there he says, the deeds, there is a benefit to the dead people from the deed of the alive people. So that is our Aqidah as Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Okay, and that is the direct statement of Imam Abu Hanifa, because as you know, the book of Aqidah Tahawiyya, it's not Tahawi's book, but it's the book of Imam Abu Hanifa. Okay, recorded by Imam Tahawi. Okay, so according to Abu Hanifa, as well as the rest of four madhahib, we say the deed, whatever we do, and when we send its thawab to the dead people, it will reach them. So that is our position. Okay, and then there are many proofs for that. One of them, do you remember Rasulullah was passing through two graves, and then Rasulullah brought a branch, grassing in. So then Rasulullah said that they were punished. So I did grass the branch just to decrease their punishment while it's wet. Okay, means just for that short while. Okay, so then we say that branch, because makes tasbih, so its tasbih will be going to the dead people. So if that thing, which is a branch of the tree, can benefit the dead person, so then what do you think about human being? Human being is more completed and more perfect than the trees and animals. Okay, so that's one thing. And the second proof, if you remember, Rasulullah ﷺ during Eid al-Adha did slaughter two sheep. One after slaughtering, he said, this is for Muhammad and Al Muhammad. And then Rasulullah slaughtered the second one, saying, this is for the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We say Rasulullah did slaughter for the Ummah of Rasulullah who are died already and who were there and who are going to come. Okay, so then if that did reach, so then recitation will also reach. Okay, and there are many other proofs for that. Okay, so there shouldn't be any problem about it. And if I can ask some of you to come to read this, please. Any of you? Questions? When doctors write some prescription, no one can read it, you know? So doctor has to read. I think this one is also.
If material is too small, is it permissible to sew two pieces together?
We say there is nothing wrong with it, inshallah. But we prefer that it shouldn't be sewn, actually. It shouldn't be stitched. But if it is stitched, no problem, inshallah, yes. If you can read it louder, please.
Can you write the kalima on the qamis?
We say writing the kalima on the qamis, in Hanafi madhab, we allow only with the finger. So there is no any mark in it, but just written with the finger on the chest or on the forehead. So it is La ilaha illallah. Okay, but what about writing it on the paper and then just putting it inside of the kafan? So we say in Hanafi madhab, it's haram. Why? Because there will be name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the paper. So then when a body will start decomposing, so filth can touch the name of Allah. Okay, so that is not permissible. And that is, actually I'm quoting from Ali al-Qari in his book called Sharh Fiqh al-Akbar, and the second book, it's the Fatawa Shamiyya. So I'm quoting from these two books. Yes, please.
Is there any other opinion that allows that to happen?
Actually, I've been told that some of the Maulanas actually gave fatwa. But I don't know how authentic is that opinion. But according to Fatawa Shamiyya, Muhammad Amin Ibn Abidin, rahimahullah, the Hanafi scholar, as well as Mullah Ali Qari, Ali ibn al-Harawi, Ali ibn Sultan al-Harawi, radiallahu anhu, of Mujaddid of the second thousand year actually. Yeah. So these two Hanafi scholars said is not permissible. And that is the Shafi'i position. So according to Hanafi, Shafi'i is not permissible. But we can write it on the chest, but with no any ink, just finger. Or on the forehead, we say fine. Yes.
Can you put a copy of Surah Yasin?
No, I did answer. So putting a copy of Surah Yasin or Ayat al-Kursi is the same thing. Because, for example, in Hanafi madhab, we say, let's suppose that here is copy of Quran or there is name of Allah. And I know that. And I will leave it in the place in which I know that there will be some filth. So in Hanafi madhab, we say that person is kafir. Okay, but if I don't know that there is going to be filth, so then it is disrespectfulness, so it is a major sin. But if I know that there will be some filth, so it is, in Hanafi madhab, is kufr. Because it is the same as to throw the Quran or to throw, for example, name of God or to throw the name of Rasulullah. That is kufr. Yes.
At what stage do you put perfume on clothes after wrapping the body or before?
So normally before putting the kafan, so we prepare the kafan by putting some perfume on the kafan. Okay, but if you've forgotten, we say no problem, up to burying the body you can put on the perfume. There is nothing wrong with it.
3 drops? How many drops?
We say once or for 3 times, so it should be odd number, and then it's not drop, but we just wipe it actually. Or forehead, yes, exactly, yeah. So all of them things, yeah. So it's mustahab to be odd number, 1, 3, 5, 7. But if it is 2, 4, 6, we say no problem. But it was mustahab to do it odd number.
When washing the private area of the body, do you pour water over the cloth or underneath?
So when you are washing the private places, as I said, the person will be having gloves on. Okay, and the gloves normally will have really thick fabric inside side, you know, this side, palm side. Okay, and then two people will be holding the fabric. Am I right? So then the joke will be used from underneath. So the fabric will be blocking your vision from the private place, but you will put it from underneath, and hands will go from underneath of the fabric. So you will not see it, but you will wash it.
Wuzu at the start, is it 3 times or once?
It is just normal wudu. So 3 times actually, yes. So each limb 3 times.
Do you tie the cloth, the woman's chest and the top of the head and feet, or do you just fold it?
Normally in terms of the chest, they do tie it up. Either they tie it up from on the back or on the side, here or there. But it will be covering the chest. But the khimar, scarf, they do not tie it up. But they just put it, you know, left side first and then right side. That's it. They just leave it like that.
Do the people undertaking the ghusl, do they have to be in wudu, and do they have to bathe themselves after performing the ghusl?
No, we say it's mustahab to be in the wudu status, but if they are not in wudu status, they are not sinful. Nothing wrong with it, no.
Can a menstruating woman perform ghusl?
We say there is nothing wrong, yes. If some lady is having haid, if she's perfectly protected in terms of no any blood can drop, we say there is nothing wrong with it, inshallah.
Does the cloth have to be white or cotton?
It is mustahab for the kafan to be white color and from the cotton. Because normally, you know, when body will start decomposing, cotton has more, you can say, potential in terms of sucking in the blood, you know. So it will keep the body cleaner for longer. But if it is any other material, any other fabric and different color, we say that's still fine, but it is better, it's mustahab to have it as white color. Rasulullah ﷺ did recommend us to keep it as white color. Yes, please.
You know, some people would take the coffin to Zamzam water and put into that.
We say, we wish, yes, if it's possible, or even, for example, if there are some of the scholars in the past, they used to keep their kafan all the time with them, and during tahajjud they would cry and they would wipe their tears using that kafan, you know, because that is for barakah. So when you will be wiped, when you will be covered, okay, into your kafan, so that will give its effect, inshallah. That's what we say, fine, no problem, inshallah. As well as there is hadith, Rasulullah ﷺ says, زينوا أكفان موتاكم فإنهم يتزاورون أو فإنهم يتزاورون في المقابر أو في القبور أو كما قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام, means make the kafan of the dead people perfect, make it beautiful and perfect, because they go and visit each other in the graves. Okay, so then if it's not perfect kafan, then some of them will get ashamed actually. Yes.
Is there a limit on the number of people doing ghusl?
There is no any limit. There is no any minimum limit, and there is no any maximum limit in terms of a number of people who are performing ghusl. No problem.
What should you be reading while performing ghusl?
We say, as I said, there will be 2 people who are holding the fabric. One of them is obedient, pious person, and the second is disobedient. So normally, why do we invite the pious person practicing? Because he will be making a lot of du'as. So we hope that he will make du'a and then it will benefit that person. But there is not any specific du'a to recite. Yeah.
Do you remove hair extensions?
If it's not natural hair, yeah, of course. We take off, even, do you know that eyelashes, the synthetic one, we take off everything.
You mentioned when passing away, if someone has said the Shahada 3 days before and not spoken after that, and passes away, it is accepted. So does it not matter if they had thoughts after then?
No, thinking never invalidates your speech. Am I right? Rasulullah ﷺ said that Allah has forgiven the thoughts of my ummah till they perform it. Okay, so some of you may have very bad thoughts in your mind, so you are not sinful for them unless if you act upon it. Okay, so we say Rasulullah ﷺ clearly stated, "Man kana akhiru kalamihi la ilaha illallah dakhala al-jannah." Or kama qala Nabi ﷺ, means anyone whose word will be, the last word will be la ilaha illallah, he will enter paradise. Okay, but then does it have to be just before the death? Rasulullah didn't say yes or not. Rasulullah said the last word. Okay, so what is the last word? Last word is anything that you say, and after that you do not speak till you die. So it could be even before 3 days or 4 days. Or there is no any limit. Yeah.
At the previous ghusl talk, we were told that those involved in the ghusl process should go home and get rid of the clothes they were wearing. By this, does it mean wash them or completely get rid of them?
In terms of when you give ghusl, normally we do have some plastic clothes, you know. Person who will be giving ghusl, he will be wearing it just to protect that, because when you will be washing, maybe some filth may spray on your clothes. So they put some plastic clothes normally, okay. But then we say if there will be some filths which will be coming from the dead person and spraying on your clothes, we say you have to wash them, you know. But in terms of do you have to get rid of the clothes, we say no, of course. It is israf. You shouldn't do it.
Can the dead body be placed in a coffin into the grave, or do you need to take the body out of the coffin?
We say we can use, in Islam, we can use the coffin normally if body is like chopped off, you know, normally if it's very bad incident or etc. So then body will be, you know, in different parts, you know. So only in that scenario, or body is burnt off. Okay, so only because if you lift it, it just falls in part, you know. So only in that type of scenarios we bury them in the coffin. Okay, but then we bring the condition of the coffin in the condition of the grave. Means we do put a soil from inside, underneath, even on top also from inside. You know, that does make sense. So we bring the condition of the coffin into the condition of the grave, in terms of putting soil in. Yes.
So some people leave the lid on, some take it off. What's the?
Sorry.
You know, the lid of the coffin.
What is lid?
The lid
Top.
The top. Some
Yeah.
people leave it on, some people take it off. Is there any?
So even if you are putting it, we say it's the better option to take it off. But even if you put it on, so you have to put the soil, you know, just to make it to look exactly like a grave.
Or you mean soil inside the coffin?
Inside, yes, from on the sides, underneath, and the top also. From inside.
Nobody does that,
Because in
It is sunnah.
Bradford,
so
what
if they
do
don't
is-
do that, is it?
They do not do it. I don't think that is sinful, but it is actually necessary to do it. Yes, please.
in the cemetery, what they do is they dig up the grave and they build like a coffin. So they build a little wall around, and then they place their coffin inside, and then they put breeze blocks on top.
No, but they give an option whether you're going to take the lid off.
But then sometimes they take the lid off and put it on the side, where they built it around, and then they put the breeze blocks on top, and then they put the
Concrete on top.
We say that's fine, but still it's necessary to put the soil on the sides, underneath also. Because in Hanafi madhab it is makruh to use the wood for the grave. So it should be soil.
Well, say if the law doesn't permit it, say if the caves in or something.
Yeah. So we say fine. Because of necessity.
I went to a Shia Janazah burial. They took the body out and faced it
Towards Qibla.
towards Qibla.
It is sunnah, yes.
So it was not the face, but the body to the side.
That is the proper way, yes.
And then
but-
they put
Yes,
underneath.
just to make it straight. Yeah, that is the proper way. Even we do the same. But now they are just because it's too big headache, you know. So now it's easier just to turn the face towards the Qibla.
Because they say that there might be water streams and stuff underneath.
Okay.
That can sort of destroy.
Okay.
So the graves might underneath mess up.
Yeah, so proper way is as you did describe, just to turn the body towards Qibla. That's the proper way. Yeah, but then now, I don't know, for some reason, they just turn the face towards the Qibla. Yeah, so we say as a minimum you should do this, you know. But the proper way is turn the body on the right side so it will be facing the Qibla.
You do that for me.
Who does first, he will be done, inshallah. Anything else? And
How do you make up for missed salah? Is there a certain technique or niyyah?
You should make intention that first ever missed salat, for example, you are making up fajr. So then each fajr make up qadha fajr you pray, you should make intention that the first ever fajr salat that you missed. That's the best option. Or the very last fajr salat that you missed in your life. Till you will finish off all of the salawat.
Sheikh, can I ask a question? The person who actually gives ghusl
Yeah.
there, is it, do they have to have a ghusl as well?
No, not necessary.
Right, it's not necessary.
There is no any no. So there is not any condition for the person who is giving ghusl. Does he have to have wudu, or does he have to be in some certain status? Does he have to be relative? There is no any condition actually.
And one more, to recite Surah Baqarah's first ruku, and is it last 3 ayat, Surah Baqarah's last 3 or 2?
In Hanafi madhab we say is Yasin is the sunnah, mustahab for the dead people to be recited.
Whilst the ghusl is being carried out?
Normally they say, do you know, during the person dying, so it is recommended to read it then, because it makes the death easier, less painful.
My question was, once you buried the dead person on the cover,
Yeah,
can you read the first ruku of Surah Baqarah?
there is no any restriction. Anything that you read and send, inshallah, most likely it will reach, inshallah, yes.
In some cultures, you know, in terms of the piece of cloth that I use to wrap the body, they use one of the cloths, they don't cover the face, they show the face and they put it on like a hijab. Is that permissible?
Yeah, fine, yes. But the proper way, they just normally cover it up. But if it is lady, then it's better just to keep it covered, except if it is maybe female relatives of the lady, or otherwise it's just better just to keep it covered, you know. But again, there is no any restriction, inshallah. Yeah.
I've seen sometimes on the mayyit, they put such new threads from Kiswa on the eyes.
Okay.
Is that okay?
There is nothing wrong with it. Okay, and if you know, there are so many Sahaba, they made a will because they used to have the hair of Rasulullah alayhi salam, so they made will to put it inside of their eyes or in their mouths also. Anas ibn Malik, for example, Khalid ibn, so many Sahaba. So we say anything that you do wishing barakah of it. So if you take it with you into your grave, there is nothing wrong with it, and it is actually recommended. Yeah.
The person that's performing the ghusl,
Yeah.
does he need to do ghusl himself after
Mustahab.
mustahab?
Yeah, but do you have to? We say no. Mustahab, why? Because when you're washing, it will spray on your body, you know, just to make sure. Yeah. Or is it wajib? We say no. Unless if you see the filth sprayed. But if only water is touching your body, we say nothing wrong with it. Bismillah. Any other question, please? Yes.
Can you elaborate on the actual grave itself? A lot of people do the big stones and they have the big
No.
marble thing going on.
We say it is mustahab to put sign. Okay, once Rasulullah ﷺ went to the grave of Uthman bin Mad'un after the burial, and then Rasulullah did grass in some rock. So then some of the Sahaba asked, what is that, Ya Rasulullah? Rasulullah ﷺ said, alamatun ata'allamu biha qabra akhi. Means it is some sign just for me to recognize the grave of my brother, Uthman bin Mad'un radiyallahu anhu. So we say there should be some sign, but it should be as a maximum one hand span or as a maximum one arm. So anything on top of that in Hanafi madhab will not be recommended.
So is that just the mud being that high? Or
Yes.
Other things like just say bricks going around it or marble?
We say fine, even if it is a brick, but not new ones. So it is, for example, rocks. Okay, but there should be some barrier just to protect the grave. Because Rasulullah ﷺ said, the respect of the person, that it is the same as him being alive. As well as Rasulullah ﷺ said, it's better for some of you to be sitting on top of the fire than to be sitting on top of the grave. Okay, so we have to respect the grave. We shouldn't, it's not permitted. So in order to respect the grave, we have to put sign that it is a grave. Yeah. Yes.
And is that handspan, is that just for general public? Because for the awliya, you see some mazarat that have very high or maybe really high.
In terms of fiqh side, there is no any permission. Okay, but all of our mashayikh, they gave a permission for that, you know. There is nothing wrong with it, inshallah. Yeah.
There's two questions. Somebody asking, some people perform Hajj on a Thursday.
Sorry? Yeah.
Perform Hajj on Thursday, and they put out food. Is that permissible?
Yeah, of course, it is permissible, yeah. But in Hanafi, in Hanbali madhab, there is some hadith actually from Tawus bin Kaysan. Have you heard about this person? Tawus bin Kaysan is a student of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. So he is one of the tabi'in. So Tawus bin Kaysan radiallahu anhu says that after the death, after the burial, for the first 7 days, it will be the period in which that body will be tested. So he said it is recommended for the relatives of the dead body to make dua. Okay, because the first 7, because normally when we think that Munkar and Nakir will come, we think that it's only 3 questions, you know. But it's actually sometimes some of the dead bodies, it may take years to test them, you know. Okay, so that's why we say in terms of doing some certain, you can say, du'as or reading Quran or etc. We say all of that is permissible. But only one thing, keep in your mind, in Hanafi madhab is makruh tahriman for the family of the dead people to prepare a food for others, you know, for the guests. But it is recommended for the relatives or the neighbors of that family to prepare food for them.
After the burial, the soil, should it be flat or should it be heaped up?
We make it as like camel's pump, yes. Yeah.
One more question. I read in a book, when a wife dies, the husband can't see your face because he becomes a prayer maiden.
Yes. But other way around is permissible.
The wife.
Husband dies, so wife will stay his wife till she completes the iddah.
Yes.
Yeah, but because normally when wife dies, husband doesn't keep iddah, am I right? It shows that chain is cut straight after the death.
Right.
But other way around, chain will still stay till the end of the iddah. Yes, correct, yes. You're welcome. Yes.
Both parents have passed away and they have a lot of debt themselves. Should they prioritize paying their own debt or should they pay their parents' fidya first?
We say each single person is responsible for his own mistakes. So let's suppose that my grandfather passed away and he had a debt as well as I do have a debt. So we say it's better for myself to pay off my own debts first. And after that, if I will pay off the debts of my grandfather or grandmother, so that is a beautiful thing. But do I have to? We say no. So in terms of someone else's debt, I'm not responsible, but I'm responsible for my own debt. Yes.
Can a lady give ghusl to her husband if there's no one else available?
It never happens. There is all the time someone else, you know. But if there is no one else, of course, yes. Out of necessity, everything becomes permissible, inshallah.
What was the question?
If there is no one available to give ghusl, is it okay for the wife to give ghusl for her husband? So we say if there is no one is available, then yes. But it's not a realistic question. It's just made up question.
How do you bury the body?
Sorry?
How do you bury the body?
You just throw him in the grave and then throw.
Also, most people read Adhan to keep shaitan out.
No, that's what I did explain in the beginning. I did answer this question, yeah.
Not a lot of the times now, well, not a lot of the time, but sometimes in accidents, etc., bodies do become dismembered.
Sorry?
Bodies can become dismembered,
What do you mean?
like mutilated or cut.
Yes.
How would the conditions of ghusl still remain the same?
Yes, exactly. So, but you have to be wise enough, you know. Yeah, but the same thing will be applied as much as you can. But sometimes it will be very badly burnt off body, so we may do only tayammum on that body, because as soon as water touches it, just, you know. So we do tayammum on that only. Yes.
One more question. How is it to put your shajara in the grave?
Which shajara?
Shajara.
Your lineage.
Yeah.
If you're from Ahlul Bayt, we don't do it.
I think the other shajara is, do you know what they recite in terms of your silsila?
It's not necessary actually.
I think people do for tabarruk.
Okay, for tabarruk that's fine, but it's not necessary. So the most important thing, if you can just shout his name and his mother's name, as I explained, that's the most important thing, because we do have clear-cut hadith in which Rasulullah says that it benefits, you know. Yeah, so that's more important to do something beneficial.
What about, can you kiss the, you know, like when you place the body into the grave before you leave?
Yeah.
Can you like kiss the face before you leave?
That's fine, yes. Kissing the face of the body, that's fine. Nothing wrong with it.
And also, what about the people that like sending bodies back home and stuff like that?
We say in Hanafi madhab, the maximum allowed transferring the body is 5 miles, within 5 miles actually. But to send it away, normally in Hanafi madhab is makruh tahriman, normally. But then we do have something strange, just keep it in your mind. Do you know when your body will be placed in the grave, if your neighbors are punished in the grave, it may hurt you also. Smoke of it, or screaming, shouting. So that's why make sure that the obedient Muslims will be buried with obedient people, you know, because they will get hurt from each other, you know.
Could it be vice versa? Could it be like if the garden of paradise nearby, the fragrance of
There will be some smoke may hurt them, you know.
Could it be the opposite? So if there's a obedient person, a pious person buried in that area?
Sometimes they do it here. So for example, let's suppose that it's just grave of average Muslims, and then one of the scholars or one of the awliya passed away. So they bury his body exactly in that place, just hoping that all of the punishment will be taken away from the rest of the people who are lying there. We say fine, but then that is important, but in the same time is important to give respect to the awliya also, you know. Yeah, so wallahu alam. Yeah.
What about people that place water, Zamzam water on the grave?
Yeah.
You mentioned about putting the stick.
It's just tabarruk. We say fine. Yeah.
Is that like,
spraying, for example, Zamzam water on top of the grave.
what's the wisdom behind? So if somebody asked that, how do you explain basically?
Because Rasulullah did mention that Zamzam is Mubarak water. There is barakah in it. Okay, so it is 100%. There is barakah. Okay, so so if just normal branch did benefit, so then what about blessed water? Okay, so I say there is nothing wrong with it, inshallah.
Sheikh, can I ask one more question?
Yes.
I've heard is that Hazrat Ali
Radiallahu anhu, yes.
gave ghusl to Sayyidah Fatima.
Radiallahu anha, yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, because we say Rasulullah ﷺ did confirm that their nikah has been done by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the, you know. So their chain will never be cut. So in Yawm al-Qiyamah, Sayyidah Fatima will be resurrected as a wife of no one else except Ali radiallahu anhu. But the rest of the people, it may not be like that. So we say it's only because of that. But in Shafi'i madhab, both of husband and wife, they can do it to each other. But in Hanafi, only wife can give ghusl to the husband only. No, but not other way around.
So they should visit the grave of a husband.
Yeah, of course, yeah, that's fine.
Also in some cultures, they say a pregnant woman shouldn't go in front of a deceased body. Is that right?
It's just maybe in order to avoid the miscarriage, maybe.
So is that?
But there is not any restriction in the religion. So it's just to avoid the miscarriage, maybe. Wallahu alam, yes.
Sorry, I just want to ask a question. Is to the graveyard to visit the graveyard, does she have to take a mahram with her?
No.
Can she go alone?
Yeah, if it is within the distance of safar, I mean less than distance of safar, which
Does
is,
she have to be fully covered?
we say it's just average adab, because even, do you know the dead people, they are the same as alive people, you know? Do you remember the hadith in which Sayyidah Aisha says, when Umar radiallahu anhu was buried, before that she used to go to visit with no scarf. And after Umar radiallahu anhu was buried, so she started putting a scarf on, saying, before it used to be my husband and my father, but now there is Umar, who are on mahram, you know? Okay, so look, Rasulullah says, the respect of the person, that person, is the same as his respect being alive, you know? So there is nothing different between us and them, but except they are in different dimension and we're in this, still in this, there is nothing else, you know?
Yeah, sorry, it's just what it is. I know loads of like families where they believe women can't go alone. They have to take a mahram.
No, maybe it's because, maybe graveyards are normally scary, maybe because of that.
I don't know, it's
Yeah.
they've got this feeling.
No, nothing wrong.
Right.
No.
My sister's got a question. One is that after deceased is buried, in the Pakistani culture they do 4 khatams and one on the 40th day. Is that something that has to be, or is it just
No.
something?
It is most likely cultural thing, but there are sometimes, do you know the 7th day and 40th day and the day after 1 year? So we say it's mainly the Christian culture. So we say if it is in your area, Christians practice it, so then it may not be recommended. But if you are living in area where Christians do not practice it, we say fine. Yeah.
And somebody's also asking if a menstruating woman can enter a graveyard.
Yeah, no problem, inshallah. In Hanafi madhab, is not a problem for the women to go to visit the graveyard. Yeah, Sayyidi. Yeah. We finished that. Praying janazah? No, it's ghusl only. No. Yeah. We say in sending the body to different place in itself is not permissible. No, it's makruh tahriman. Yeah, but but it's very common practice, isn't it?
Well, less so now.
Yeah. There is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that if you know Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, Rasulullah ﷺ said that he is going to be resurrected underneath of the feet of Rasulullah ﷺ. But as we know, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari is buried in Syria, am I right? I think as far as I know, there are 2 graves of him. One is in Jordan and one is in Syria, as far as I know. So then, Rasulullah ﷺ never lies. Okay, but then the second hadith is going to explain it. There is some weakness in the narration. Rasulullah ﷺ says that there are angels who are responsible to take off the body of the disobedience from the Baqiyah away and to bring the bodies of obedient people from abroad, from different places into the Baqiyah. So that's what is going to happen. So it doesn't matter where to be buried, but the most important thing, what was your status when you died? Okay?
Shaking you.
You know, incense sticks, when they burn and put on the...
On the grave, yeah.
Is that permissible, or some people say it's fire and you shouldn't put... What's the...
Yeah, I don't know. Wallahu alam.
Also, some people put little, like, the fans.
What is fun?
Like windmills.
Yeah.
Blow. What are they? Have you seen any? They do.
Oh,
They get spinning
on the
wheels.
actual rocks.
No, they stick them inside it. Spinning wheels.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I've never.
I don't think that is permissible. Wallahu alam. So only the sunnah to put some sign, just to recognize the grave. Yes. Lights is not in our religion. Because Rasulullah ﷺ said when passing the grave, said all of these graves are dark, and by me praying upon them, Allah is going to enlighten the graves. Okay, but Christians, they do enlighten by putting on lamps and candles, etc. But in our religion, we do it by praying janazah and making dua for them.
Can I just stop the questions now?
Sorry, can I just ask one last one? You know how you said that women can go visit the graveyard, but you know, like some people say at the time of burial, women are not allowed to go. It's only the men.
We say in Hanafi madhab, yes.
So it's only the men that can go at the time of
Yeah. Yeah, but afterward we say everyone, fine. Everyone's going fine, yeah. Okay. Please, if we can just go back to the Mukhtasar al-Khuduri. Very briefly, inshallah. وأولى الناس بالصلاة عليه السلطان إن حضر فإن لم يحضر فيستحب تقديم إمام الحي ثم الولي. According to Abu Hanifa, the person who has more right to pray upon janazah is the governor of that locality. Okay, so it could be president, prime minister, or local mayor or councillor. They have the more right to pray upon him. And if no one is there, then the second person who has more right is the imam of the masjid, the local masjid in which he used to pray. And if there is no imam of the local masjid, then the person, the owner of the body, relatives. فإن صلى عليه غير الولي والسلطان أعاد الولي. If someone beside the governor and the wali, the owner of the body, will pray janazah upon that person, so then wali or sultan, they do have a right to repeat janazah. So then we can read janazah for more than one time. وإن صلى عليه الولي لم يجوز أن يصلي عليه أحد بعده. But what about as soon as the owner of the body will pray? We say after that janazah is not valid. Okay, so if you know, if some person is dead and if they are expecting many people to come, so then they allow everyone to pray janazah except his relatives, you know, because as soon as his relative will pray, after him no one else can pray. Okay, because after that salat al-janazah will not be valid. فإن دفن ولم يصلي عليه أحد صلي على قبره إلى ثلاثة أيام ولا يصلى بعد ذلك. But what about, there are situations in which a body is buried but no janazah was performed. We say after the burial we can pray up to 3 days. Up to 3 days, and after that is not permissible. But then we say these 3 days is not limited, is not restricted. It will be depending on the condition of the ground, soil. So if it is a dry soil, so then it may stay till 3 days. But if it is wet one, so then it may stay only 1 day. So the most important thing is body shouldn't get decomposed. As soon as it will be decomposed, you cannot pray janazah after that. Okay. ويقوم المصلي بحذاء صدر الميت. And according to Hanafi madhab, imam who is praying the janazah, he will be standing just next to the chest of the dead person. And there is another opinion, as far as I know it is Shafi'i opinion, if person is female, then they stay next to the chest. But if that person is male, then they stay next to the belly button. We say in Hanafi madhab is only one thing, which is to be staying next to the chest. Okay. But what about if someone will pray in different next to the different part of the body? We say it is makruh, but salat is valid. Yeah. Was salatu, but how to perform the salat? Was salatu an yukabbira takbiratan yahmidullah ta'ala aqibaha. The salat al-janazah actually 4 takbirs. After the first takbir, you should recite sana, hamd. Okay, what is the sana? So we say it is the same sana which you read in your namaz. Allahumma inna nahmaduka. So that is the thing. Okay, or is it permissible to read Surah Al-Fatiha? For example, Alhamdulillah Rabbi, till the end. We say without intention of recitation is permissible. So you shouldn't intend that you are reading Quran. but you are just reading to thank Allah. Okay, we say then it's permissible. ثم يكبر تكبيرة ويصلي على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. And after that you will make the second takbirah, then you read Durud Sharif. Which one? We say anyone. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad, we say fine. Or Durud Ibrahimiyya, Salawat Ibrahim, we say that's also fine. ثم يكبر تكبيرة ثالثة يدعو فيها لنفسه وللميت وللمسلمين. And after that you will make the third takbirah, and after the takbirah, third takbirah, you pray for that person and for yourself and for the rest of the Muslims. Okay, for example, Allahumma ghfir li hayyina wa mayyitina wa shahidina wa all of them. Okay, or you can say Allahumma irhamni warhamil mu'minin. Anything to pray for yourself and for that person and for the rest of the Muslims. ثم يكبر تكبيرة رابعة ويسلم. And after that you will make the last fourth takbirah and then you make salam straight after that. But after making the takbirah, so when you release your hands, we say when you will make both of the salams. So it's not when you will make right salam, you release your right hand and then left one, and then it's not that, but both of them will be released as soon as you will make the second salam. Okay, and as you know, in Hanafi madhab there are two salams in Janazah, but in Hanbali, as far as I know, there is only one salam in Janazah, not two salams. ولا يرفع يديه إلا في التكبيرة الأولى. And in Hanafi madhab, when you are making takbirah, you shouldn't make raf'a, you shouldn't raise your hands except in the first takbirah. Okay, as well as you do not raise the heads, you know. So it's only one takbirah and then you will just recite. ولا يصلي على ميت في مسجد جماعة. And also in Hanafi madhab, it is makruh tahriman to read Salat al-Janazah in the Jama'ah masjid. Okay, but what about if Jama'ah masjid, there is some specific place prepared for the Janazah Salat, we say fine. But it shouldn't be in the prayer hall in Hanafi madhab. But what about if it is in the prayer hall, we say it's not recommended but Salat is valid. Okay.
Why is that?
Sorry?
Why should it not be in the masjid?
So basically, in Hanafi madhab, we say it's mainly, normally there will be some certain type of filths, you know. So when you bring in the janazah, so it may make the masjid filthy. Okay, or there is another reason. They say, وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدِ لِلَّهِ فَلَا تَدْعُوا فِيهَا أَحَدًا. Means, and indeed the masajid belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so do not call in the masajid for anyone. Okay, so it is basically two reasons. Then he says, فَإِذَا حَمَلُوهُ عَلَى سَرِيرِهِ أَخَذُوا بِقَوَائِمِهِ الْأَرْبَعِ وَيَمْشُونَ بِهِ مُسْرِعِينَ دُونَ الْخَبَبِ. When you will lift the janazah in Hanafi madhab, we say sunnah lifting is so 4 people lift, but in Shafi'i only 2 people will be lifting. So as we said, in Hanafi madhab it is sunnah to lift, 4 people should be lifting, but in Shafi'i it's only 2 people will be lifting. Okay. وَيَمْشُونَ بِهِ مُسْرِعِينَ دُونَ الْخَبَبِ. And sunnah to lift and to walk fast, but not running, but moving fast. Rasulullah ﷺ said that if the janazah is pious person, so then you will hurry up to take him to his pleasure. But if the janazah is disobedient person, so then you will throw away the disobedient person from your shoulders. Okay, so in both of the cases, you have to walk fast but not running. فَإِذَا بَلَغُوا إِلَى قَبْرِهِ كُرِهَ لِلنَّاسِ أَنْ يَجْلِسُوا قَبْلَ أَنْ يُوضَعَ مِنْ أَعْنَاقِ الرِّجَالِ. And when they will reach the graveyard, it's not permissible, it's makruh for the people to sit down before they will put the janazah. So first you have to put the janazah, then you should sit down. The rest of the people then should sit down. وَيُحْفَرُ الْقَبْرُ وَيُلْحَدُ. And then we say in Hanafi madhab, the sunnah way is to make lahad. Do you know the lahad? So graveyard will be like that. I mean, grave will be like that, and then it goes on the side. Okay, because there is another way in which they do like that, and just slightly it goes like, or it will be just deep, and then the actual grave will be just underneath. Okay, so this one is not Sunni way. We say it should be on the side. Okay. ويدخل الميت أو ويدخل الميت مما يلي القبلة. And then it is recommended to take in the dead body from the side of Qibla. For example, let's suppose Qibla is on that side. So then dead body will be given from that side and to be entered towards the, again, Qibla side. So you will take him from Qibla side and you will put him into the Qibla side. But we say it is Sunnah. So if it will not be done like that, we say no one is sinful for that. Then he says, فَإِذَا وُضِعَ فِي اللَّحَدِ في لحده قال الذي يضعه بسم الله وعلى ملة رسول الله. And the person who will put the body inside of the grave, it is recommended, it is mustahab for him to say Bismillah ala millati Rasulillah. So that is sunnah. وَيُوَجِّهُهُ إِلَى الْقِبْلَةِ. And after that you will turn the body towards Qibla. Okay, how? As we say, the proper way is to turn the body. Okay, so you will put some soil on the back and towards the bottom, the tummy, so just to hold the body like that. Okay, but as I said, now the most common way, they just turn the face. I remember reading in one of the books, it says that someone actually used to steal the coffins, you know. And then he became a very pious person. And then once he has been asked, how come that you used to steal the coffins and suddenly you became a pious person? So he said, because I found that most of the Muslims who are buried, their face was turned away from the Qibla. Okay, because normally we turn the face towards Qibla. And then when Munkar and Nakir will come to test the person, so after that they turn it away if person wasn't a true believer. Okay, so he says because of that, that was a good sign for me to start practicing actually. Okay, so then he says وَيُحِلُّ الْعُقْدَ أو وَتُحَلُّ الْعُقْدَ. And after that, if you remember, we did put a fabric to tie up the lifafa. So when you put the body inside, you just take it off. You just unlock it and you just take it off. وَيُسَوِّي اللَّبِنَ عَلَى اللَّحَدِ. And after that, you will put because a grave looks like this, you know, on the side. So just to make sure that when you're throwing a dust inside, so it doesn't fall in. So you have to build with the non-burnt brick, labin, non-burnt brick, you have to build a wall. Just to make sure that when you're throwing a dust, it doesn't go to cover the body of the person, you know? Yes.
When you're taking the body out from the coffin,
yeah,
to the grave,
yeah,
you need to have like a cloth to cover
it for the ladies, for the women.
Only for the women.
Yes, yes, not for the men, no. وَيُكْرَهُ الْأَجُرُّ وَالْخَشَبُ. But it is makruh to use the wood and the proper brick to make that wall. Yes.
When you're moving the lady from the coffin to the grave, who should carry the lady?
We say relatives.
Just relatives.
Yeah, father or son or brother, so relatives actually. Yeah. But if there are no relatives, then she would be buried in the coffin. Yeah. وَلَا بَأْسَ بِالْقَصَبِ. But it's permissible to use the bamboo. Not wood, but bamboo. To make that wall, to protect. Because, you know, when you are throwing dust, so just to keep the dust outside, not inside of the lahad. Okay? ثُمَّ يُهَالُ التُّرَابُ عَلَيْهِ. And after that, the dust will be thrown, soil will be thrown into the grave. وَيُسَنَّمُ الْقَبْرُ وَلَا يُسَطَّحْ. And we have to make it like a half circular or like triangle. But we shouldn't make it like a square. Okay, do you know, on top of the grave. So the Islamic way is to make it like half circular or triangle, but not like a square. Okay. Now, in terms of miscarriage or abortion, ومن استهل بعد الولادة سمي وغسل وصلي عليه وإن لم يستهل أدرج في خرقة ودفن ولم يصلى عليه. Now, in terms of abortion or miscarriage, there are two options. Either miscarriage or abortion will be before 4 months. So if it is before 4 months, we do not look into anything. So it is not a human being before 4 months. But what about if it is after 4 months? So the text is talking only about the pregnancy which is aged 4 months or more. Okay, so if abortion or pregnancy will happen after 4 months of a pregnancy, okay, so in that case, when baby will come out, so there are two options. Either you will see a sign of being alive, or you will not see any sign. And what is this? What is the sign of being alive? It is laughing, crying, shouting, or moving the eyes, but not moving the fingers, because normally body inside of the womb will be squeezed, and when body will come out, it will just move, So that's not the sign of being alive. Okay. So after the miscarriage, when baby will come out, if you will see a sign of being alive, then you should name the baby. You have to name the baby. Okay, how to name it? According to the Sunnah. You will read adhan on the right ear, read iqamah on the left ear, then you will name the baby, and then you will give the ghusl, and then you will make kafan as we did explain. And then you will bury. Yes, please.
The azan, did you read the Fajr azan or
Just normal azan. Normal azan, yeah. And then, but what about if there will not be any sign of being alive? Then you will just roll it up into the fabric, and then again you will bury it. But no naming, and no reading azan, and no janazah. But in the first scenario, first you should name, and then give ghusl, and then put in the kafan, and pray janazah, and then bury. Okay? But if there will not be any sign of being alive when it comes out, okay, so then you should just put it into the fabric, and then you should bury it in some respectable place, because it is piece of a human being. It is just flesh of a human being. Okay, but then question: moving inside of the womb of the mother, is it sign of being alive? We say no. The sign of being alive should appear when baby comes out of the womb. So it is after 4 months of pregnancy. Okay. I think that much should be enough, inshallah. We stop here. And if you have any questions, you should ask. Can you give your fidya for your qadha namaz whilst you are alive? No. If you are alive and you miss some salawat, then you have to make them off, So, mashallah, it was very a tricky question, cheating question. If you have a lot of qadha years, for example, 17 years, and in small amount. So we say in Hanafi madhab, you have to do the qadha namaz of 1 day within 1 day as a minimum. In Hanafi madhab. But in Shafi'i madhab, you have to carry on doing it till you will fall down, being tired. So it is something about 20 or 50 days within 1 day, But in Maliki madhab, you have to make up of the salawat of 5 days within 1 day. So here are the options in front of you. Any other question?
When you're saying to lift the gullah with your finger, she was saying sometimes you can make it with can you dip your finger in like soil?
No. There shouldn't be any sign, you know, any mark. Okay, just finger. Just finger, yeah.
Fresh cut flowers and planting on the grave allowed?
No, we do not plant, as well as if there are some grass growing, we do not cut it off unless if it gets dry. So the growing grass, it will make tasbih. So you shouldn't cut it off, you should just leave it. But in terms of us grassing and planting something, we say it's makruh.
What about like fresh flowers? Is it mushrikeen put fresh flowers?
I don't think there is anything wrong, but if you just grass it in, it should benefit, inshallah, yes. But not planting, but just to plug it in, you know.
Sometimes there's weeds that grow.
Sorry?
The weeds that grow. Are you meant to pull them out?
Till it gets dry, you should leave it there, because it makes tasbih, you know. Okay, walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.